Hello and welcome to the South Wales Wedding Podcast by Music HQ. Each week we lift the veil on one of South Wales' leading wedding suppliers and get to know the real people behind the business. Over to you, Suze.
Hello and welcome to the South Wales Wedding Podcast. I'm Susie Aston.
And I'm Ryan Aston.
From Music HQ. But today we have a very special guest, a multi-award-winning luxury Cardiff-based wedding videographer, making wedding films for clients all over the world with a base in both Cardiff and France. Bonjour. Since 2024, Aurora Wedding Films have been dedicated to producing high-quality, exclusive and inspiring wedding films with compelling visuals and engaging stories. And I can personally vouch for them because Mr. Richard Shelton did our wedding video.
Oh, he did, yeah.
Shall I ask you when that was, or we're not talking about dates?
We were trying to figure this out earlier, weren't we? I think it's about 8.5 years ago.
Was it really?
Yeah.
I was going to say, it must have been like 2014.
And the edit only took you about 6.5 years, so...
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Look, anyway, look,
it's all the changes they wanted, that's what it was.
How lovely for you to come. I'm so chuffed. I've been really looking forward to this, mate, because...
Thank you.
I'm not sure if we're supposed to say this, but you're our fave. I mean, we chose
We
you.
chose it.
Yeah, nothing to do with your prices. But
The cheap prices. No, well, thank you so much for asking me to come down. It's amazing. Yeah, I'd love to see you both. And I haven't seen you for such a long time.
2004, that's like...
2004.
Let's not reveal ages, even though you've just celebrated a big milestone.
I know.
30th birthday.
Yeah.
That's 20 years you've been doing this.
Yeah. 20 years.
Oof.
I know, exactly. I do feel now that I am the old man on the block, I think.
The
do you
OG.
actually feel like that?
I do feel like that a little bit, I think.
We call it the original gangster.
Yeah, that's fine.
Do you feel like it's changed? Do you feel like...
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously in terms of in videography,
Yeah,
or just
videography, literally.
The scene
general?
videography.
Yeah, well, totally. And obviously, fashions have completely changed. The way that films look. If you go onto my Vimeo and scroll right down to the bottom, you will see one of the originals on there. And to look at it, it's just... I like looking at it because it gives me the sense that I've come quite a long way. But when you look at the ones that I was producing perhaps to 2004 to what I would perhaps produce in the last 10 years, I suppose, there's a huge difference there.
Retro.
You know? Oh,
you
totally.
can see the journey, so to speak.
Yeah, go and check it
But
out.
I suppose we can relate. Think of what
my
we did at the
God.
beginning compared to what
If we
do
look
now.
back at old promo videos of when, and we thought, oh my God, what the hell were we wearing? Like, I do wish I was that skinnier and, younger, but
I think
the
that's when we were
clothes...
first met, I think, because
Yeah.
I came and did one of your promos.
But our
in
very
City
first
Hall.
promo
I was
at
the first ever
in
one.
City Hall in
Although
Cardiff.
that was a good one, I have to say.
That was a
did
great
turn out
one,
well,
yeah.
So
That has stood the test of time
Yeah.
because of your cinematic, beautiful visuals.
Maybe, yeah. No, it was a good one. I remember doing it. And I remember you had all the
Feathers. They are still around.
Yeah, never
They pop out every now and again.
Never give the feathers
But
up.
yeah, 20 years, Rich.
Yes.
You can't buy that experience, can you?
No, I guess not. I mean, I'm probably maybe 700 weddings in by now, I would have thought, maybe.
Really?
I would have thought, yeah, something like that. You know, the last few years has been, as we all know, a bit of a wild ride. I can't remember the amount of weddings I've done perhaps in the last 2 or 3 years.
Catch up.
But I would say I'm probably around about 650, 700 weddings in by now. And in probably every single wedding venue in South Wales for a start, or even Wales.
Yeah.
And a lot in England as well.
And in France.
In France, yeah. I nearly said Le Français, but I'm
Le
not
Français.
gonna-
Can you,
No.
got to grips
Not
with
even ask.
Do you
no.
speak a Duolingo?
Yeah.
a bit?
Yeah, you just do what we all do. Just
Où est la
talk a bit-
piscine?
Yeah, talk
I've
a bit
used that
louder
joke
and a bit
already.
slower. Yeah,
That's everything with a French accent.
Yeah, I mean, my neighbour in France, he doesn't speak a word of English. Where we are in France is very rural and doesn't speak a word of English at all. And my French is extremely poor. And all we talk about over the garden gate is obviously technical sort of stuff, about... how do you fix a roof? Or, can you
How's
tell
your
me...
bush?
Yeah, exactly. Can you come and trim my lawn, So, I can ask him, where's the swimming pool, as you just did.
Oh, see, you're fluent.
Yeah. But I couldn't ask him, where do I take my lawnmower to be repaired?
All the good stuff.
We just chat about how nice the weather is.
Are you making a concerted effort to learn the language? Or
Duolingo.
Not? Yeah, okay.
Duolingo
Yeah.
is cool. It's
Are you getting there? Is it?
No, because I always forget to do it. I do one and I'm going, yeah, I'm great now. And the next day I'm like, nah, I can't be
Je habite. I see. I like it. That's good enough for me. I'm
Just
sold.
yeah.
So, Rich, how is it? So, is it like a holiday home, or is it
Yeah, I've always loved France. The first, me and my wife Rachel, we've been married now 24 years coming up, and the first holiday we ever had was 94, something like that. And we went to 30 years ago. We went to the south of France, just in the car, slumming it really. And I just fell in love with France from that moment.
Yeah.
And we always said that one day we would love to have a place there, maybe retire there, or maybe run a business there or something. And then about 6 years ago, we were just thinking, with Brexit coming up, when we had to do it, it was easier to do it
pre-Brexit
than it would be now for someone to do it. So we just decided that was the opportune time. If we didn't do it then, we probably never would. So yeah, we just looked into it, realised that how quite, not easy it is, but how perhaps simple a process could potentially be. And we just went and bought this house. Yeah, so it's
and you mentioned a couple of things there. One was retirement. Could you imagine? Is that the plan? Are you going to end up there?
I would love to. Yeah, I mean, perhaps maybe one day. I don't know when, because I don't know how long I'm going to last in this shooting weddings. I mean, potentially I could go. I could go tomorrow and just completely retire to France, I suppose, but still work.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah,
Because there's so many weddings there.
Yeah, there's so many weddings there, and isn't that brilliant that your business, what you do, can be just picked up and taken.
Exactly.
It's not easy, but
exactly.
But to do a bit of both is.
And we chose that particular part of France because it is so near to a lot of the bigger locations in France where people go. The Loire Valley, Dordogne, or all around the Bordeaux area, the vineyards and things. Cognac. So we chose that particular area because it's quite reasonably priced in terms of what property costs, which I was talking to you about earlier.
I know. I'm on the fence. Get me a house in France.
And just, I mean, everything is quite distant. So like the nearest decent, one of the lovely venues I go to quite a lot, Moulin de Chazette. That's about.
You sound so French.
I know. Yeah,
Moulin de Chazette.
Moulin de Chazette.
J'adore.
So Moulin de Chazette. It's about 2.5 hours away, but in French terms, that's quite close.
Yes,
that's close. So I'm going now at the end of May. I've got 2 weddings at the end of May. One's Limoges area, and I think the second one is more east of Bordeaux. And again, we're talking Château Le Gors is probably about maybe 3.5 hours, almost 4 hours for me, but. It's nothing really.
A lot of people don't realise how big France is.
Exactly.
I've toured there a lot, and like an 8 or 9 hour trip between gigs would be totally normal.
Oh yeah, totally. There's a guy that came down pretty much for the day. We got again in Cognac in the Moulin. We were shooting a wedding there last September, I think it was, and a guy had travelled pretty much, I think, from Burnley, up north. He was just a sax player, and he'd come down, travel all through the night, did the wedding, and then got back in his car and sort of pretty much drove halfway back, just for the day.
I mean, Burnley's enough of a drive, isn't
exactly.
it?
Have you made inroads into working, using that as a base and working in France?
Yeah. I mean, it's tricky because Brexit now doesn't allow you to effectively work without the relevant sort of correct visas, working visas, and carnets and stuff. I'm sure all those type of things now as you guys travel so much. So it's certainly not as easy as it was pre-Brexit. But I've made a lot of contacts out there now in terms of a lot of planners. A lot of venues recommend me now as well. And a couple of the photographers as well.
This is great. So anyone that's getting married, looking for a destination wedding in France, you're the man to speak to. I think you should create a bit more of a business where you can be your little black book of French contacts.
Yeah. I mean, the wedding that I'm doing in May, I think they're a Welsh couple, I think, actually. So they've booked me to go over there. I mean, they're all British people. They're either British, Americans, or Irish.
Isn't
people,
it beautiful to get married in France, though?
Yes.
I mean, let's not get away from South Wales. South Wales is gorgeous too, but
of course,
France.
Yeah, I think as well for me, it was great to again, because I've been doing this for so long now, I suppose, to have a complete refresh of new places to go to
Yeah.
as well. And I think that was something that really appealed to me. Every single wedding venue I think I went to in France last year was new to me. And again, no, this year, I've got, I think, 9 weddings, I think, in France this year. And I think maybe 2 are same as last year, but the others are all brand new ones again to me.
And just the vibe of being in the sunshine.
I know,
Just everyone's in a better mood, aren't they?
And it suits your style. Let's be honest. Cinematic.
Yes.
Yeah.
France. I mean, come on.
Drones and whatnot. Like, it's just all that gorgeous, warm sunshine,
Yeah.
you know, that really love. Everyone's skin looks great,
Yeah.
you know, everyone's having, and everyone, I think because everyone have put so much of an effort to get there as well, if they've got guests coming over from the UK or America, Australia, wherever they're coming from, everyone just seems to be pumped for the wedding.
Yeah.
You know, and everyone's partying quite hard, I think.
I think, when you do a destination wedding, because everyone is there together on holiday as well, aren't they? The vibe is fabulous.
Yeah,
it's fabulous.
exactly.
And normally it's not just a one day. Sometimes there's the pre wedding, and then there's the pool party for the hangover. So it's a total vibe.
It is.
Right, Rich, that's enough shot. We know you're fabulous at what we do. We know we're gonna I am going to buy the cottage next to you. We've just been speaking about.
We will.
Yeah.
I'm on the fence. I'm coming to France.
Should we talk about it first, Suze, maybe?
We'll talk about the cost of chateaus later because that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Right. We know you're amazing at what you do, but we're here with Music HQ today. So we want to know, what was the first gig that you ever went to, Rich? Can you remember?
I can.
Go on.
1986.
What?
Whoa.
Yeah.
I was 2.
Bananarama.
Rich wins. I mean, that's the best one so far.
I was 12. Yeah, and we went to see Bananarama in the Newport Centre.
Whoa, that's I love hearing this.
I would have
blushed about it as well.
Thought of that.
Yeah, no, we wouldn't have. Yeah, Bananarama was.
Wow, that's a cracker.
I think it was just my, pre-teen boy angst of just wanted to go and see
the
3
girls.
scantily dressed women.
And what music are you listening to now?
Bananarama.
Bananarama, yeah, of course. Yeah, because they're making a comeback, as they all do, They got to go on tour again. So, Bananarama.
Actually, all those heritage acts are coming back round, aren't they? So you might be able to catch them. Probably less scantily clad these days, I would imagine.
Do you play any Bananarama at Music HQ?
It's been a while.
No, we don't actually. Do we have to get them in the set?
I'm the Venus, I said,
your desire.
Yeah, great stuff,
What are you listening to? Bananarama aside.
I've got such a broad taste of what I listen to, really. I can listen to pretty much anything. What really I try to listen to when I'm traveling in the car, specifically when I go to a wedding, I listen to a lot of soundtrack music. It sort of gets me in that sort of mode, sort of cinema mindset.
Like method acting.
Just ready for start filming. So if I'm going to go to quite an epic venue, then I might put on an epic sort of cool soundtrack to get me sort of pumped to...
John Williams.
Yeah, exactly. Put some Star Wars on or something, So, but in terms of sort of bands and stuff, all classic stuff, I suppose, indie bands and things, really, from my era in the 90s. You still go back to that. I couldn't tell you who's current at the minute.
No, I know, but that's it, isn't it? The oldies are the goodies.
I know. I'm such a dad.
Well,
I've got
you
a
are a
21-year-old son.
21? Rich. The time just flies,
well, that's the thing,
it?
and we share Spotify in our house. So my one son's moved out now. So my youngest who's coming up to 16. We all share Spotify. And so I'm there all of a sudden, looking at my stuff, and all of a sudden some weird gangster sounding rap sort of stuff comes on. And I'm going, what's this? And they go,
grime.
Don't you know?
Grime.
Yeah. Don't you know? Oh God, you're so 2000s. You'll get it as well. Yeah.
We've got that all to come.
Yeah.
We've got that all to come, haven't we? So, Rich, you're lucky enough to have a base in France. If you weren't allowed to go on holiday to France, where else in the world do you like to visit? Where's your holiday spot?
I'm a big skier. I love the Alps. So I love anything with mountains. So mountains just always a huge draw for me, in the summer and in the winter as well. So again, obviously the French Alps, but I love Switzerland. I love Austria. I love that whole sort of northern, sort of escarpment of Italy, the Dolomites and stuff. So Como and Garda. I've traveled a lot to America and Canada, but I've always still got quite a heart for central sort of Europe, really.
So you're good at skiing then, Rich?
I'm all right, yeah.
Is that like a secret skill that no one knew?
Yeah.
So I went for my 40th. I only started skiing 10 years ago. I guess reveal my age. 10 years, So I started skiing 10 years ago.
From scratch? You've never done it?
Never done it before. I always wanted to. I went for a lesson once, maybe when I was about 10 or 12 at a dry slope near me in Pontypool.
Yeah.
And went there once, and I thought, this is great. My mates were quite into skiing.
I'm going to do this in 30 years' time.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to do this in 8 years' time. Well, I can afford it. Then ended up, one of my friends was doing it for his 40th birthday, and then he said, why didn't you come along, see if Rachel will do the same for you and buy you a 40th birthday present skiing. So we all went together. As I think 3 families we all went. None of us had ever skied before. And we started literally from scratch, ski school, standing there with, they take your poles off you, right? And you do your first bit. And now, I think I'm probably better than what I am. But now I'm just,
That's really interesting, because we went to Lapland at Christmas.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And we did a ski school. You want to tell this story? Because you probably tell it better than me. I was like, come on, let's go skiing. We've never done it before. But that's really good to know that you started late on and you did, because I loved it. Anyway, we put these skis on, and it was the cross-country skis. So I think they're even a bit easier than, because you can actually sort of walk in them.
Yeah.
It was a disaster. You fell on your ass like in 30 seconds, didn't you?
Yeah.
And I think heads got banged on concrete car park floors and
smashed my ass into the, as I was falling.
Coccyx!
As I was falling, I was like, it's only snow. It's a concrete bit. It's like concrete.
Totally. Well, that's it. I mean, some of the pieces and stuff, they're so hard packed.
Yeah.
Over the course of 3 months that you've been, that it's been snowing for over the winter, and they just get compacted every single day.
This literally was a concrete car park with an inch of snow.
Yeah, but like I said, even the snow on the pieces can be so rock solid that if you fall in it, well, I've seen people have horrific injuries just from falling over.
But don't most people get injured from not the skiing part, from the ski lifts, etc.
Yeah, exactly.
Like someone standing on their ski and twisting their knee off.
There was again, it was maybe about 2 or 3 years after I'd first started skiing. We were just going. I go to a ski resort called Valseny, which is really good for beginners. It's got Europe's longest green run.
We need these recommendations. Yeah, it's
honestly,
good.
I recommended it to Steve Ratcliffe, and he went there with his family. And I also recommended it to another photographer, Oliver Jones, as well. He went there with his family as well.
And now we're going.
And so you're going to go now. So honestly, to go with the kids of your age, they would love it. It's so cool. It's not a party place at all.
No, that's cool. Yeah, when you've got kids this age, you can't really.
It's not, Val d'Isère or Verbier or whatever like that. But it is good for the kids.
I definitely feel like I've got but we loved it, didn't it? It was one of the best holidays. I wasn't expecting it either, and I just loved it. Yeah. It was amazing.
Well, one of my friends said that if you can get your kids to go skiing with you, they'll always go on holiday with you.
Yes.
They'll always want to do it.
Because they can't afford.
Yeah, exactly. Eventually, they won't want to go to the beach holiday with you.
No.
It's not cool enough. But they'll always want to go skiing with you. So if you want your kids to carry on going on holiday with you.
Trap the kids with skis.
I like
it. Rich, where do you go out for dinner? You're in Cardiff, aren't you? Is there any nice spots that we should know about?
I'm really rubbish at eating out, really.
Do you cook?
I do cook.
Go on. What's your go-to dish?
Oh, if it's
toast.
Beans on toast.
Really good at cornflakes. I don't like salad. I mean, I can't say that I've got any particular signature dish. I don't think. No, nothing like that at all. I'm quite good at spag bol.
Oh, lovely! You can't beat a great spag bol.
Cheese on the top.
Lovely.
Honestly, I can eat anywhere. I'm really not a huge fussy. I love obviously really nice food. But I'm happy to just go to.
What's the food like in France?
French,
delicious.
I tell you what, that's where you get catered
for as well,
isn't
now, aren't I?
What did you say? What was it?
I don't know. I think I just made up a French word.
Yeah, just the French.
Sorry, French people.
I was going to say, in terms of catering at weddings in France, and I suppose any sort of Europe, you do get well looked after in terms of what you get fed as well.
Snails.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, sometimes I'm lucky to get a sandwich at some wedding venues.
Oh, I know.
But in France, you get the full experience. You get a table laid for you and everything.
Really?
Oh, how lovely.
Yeah. The band always eat first, as they always do. But
quite right as well.
Give the chocolate the scraps. That's interesting that you say that, because doing these things, and I don't want to say it too bad, but it is a note for venues that they must look after the suppliers. They're there all day long, and if people are the staff at the venue don't feed the photographers, the videographers, the band, it makes it just it changes the vibe. And there can be such it gets quite hard, especially when you go to a venue and you film or you take photographs or whatever you do at
do there, and you promote it on your Instagram.
Yes.
And then the venue comes around to dinner time, and the venue goes, "Oh no, I got nothing for you. But can you do a 30-second reel for us, please?"
Yeah, this is it.
And there never seems to be any sort of.
It's a team effort, isn't it? And I get it. Like, the venues can be super busy, and like maybe we're last on the list, but it makes those small things makes. The whole thing just flow better for everyone. Just keeps everyone happy and nice. So venues, listen up.
Exactly, 100%. I think we're living in quite tough sort of. The industry is getting quite hard at the moment to generate bookings, not just in our line, but in everything. Like we were talking off air, but venues and photographers and makeup artists, everyone's quite feeling it a little bit. So the more we can help each other out, and promote each other. But
which is the aim of this.
Exactly. But I'm a bit like, if that venue haven't been particularly nice to me on the day, in terms of, maybe, I've gone to the bar sometimes and had to pay like, £6 for a blackcurrant squash or something, really. But and then, then maybe give me something,
then I'll give you my reels. Yeah,
exactly. Let's all.
You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. If you're not drinking a squash at the bar,
do
you like a beverage, a cocktail?
Cocktail of choice, come on.
Old-fashioned.
Oh,
yeah. We've had a few old-fashions.
I'm getting into the old-fashions lately.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I'm still not a big whiskey drinker, really. It's something I struggle. Apparently, you've got to train yourself to drink whiskey, and I'm still not a hard.
It's a
whiskey
hardcore
drinker.
beverage, isn't it?
But I think so. I thought an old fashioned would perhaps be the sort of the easy way of bourboning myself into drinking.
But
whiskey.
it's got that sort of smokiness, lovely. And I can't drink whiskey, but I can have one old fashioned. And feel really nice. You're a bit of a whiskey boy, aren't you?
I do love a whiskey, yes. Although, to be honest, nowadays I can't cope with the hangovers.
No.
As you get older.
Yeah. But I do like red wine as well, is obviously. And
and I bet that's great in France, right?
Exactly. Yeah, totally.
What's your recommended go-to red if you would say, right, go to the shop, get me this now?
Anything above €5, I think. I don't really know. I mean, I'm very close to Bordeaux, so Bordeaux is I love Bordeaux wines.
I'm really enjoying the French wines at the moment. What's the one that you like? The Pomerol.
Yeah.
I don't know whereabouts in France that is, and I think it is French. If it's not going to really thick now, but
I had a really lovely. We went to there's a town called Simura, which is near us. So it's in Loire, so it's a bit north of us. Went there at Easter time, and the cave or the wine shop as they call it.
Yeah.
It's so amazing, the wines in there. But just get lost. You're like,
overwhelmed.
So you just. Do you want any help? Oh no, I'm fine.
Do you get to taste them?
They're all the proper stuff. Because you go on so many lovely wine tours, especially in Bordeaux.
Oh, how lovely!
Yeah,
you're selling the dream here, Rich. Selling the dream.
Sounds expensive to me. Talking of expensive, if you were to win the lottery, I love this question. It's my favorite. If you win the lottery, right? You wake up in the morning. There it is, big win, massive, life-changing money.
Yeah.
What are you going to do that day? What are you going to do that day?
That day. Let me think. What would I do?
You haven't thought about it loads.
Yeah, of course. I love the south of France, and I would probably be straight on to an agent looking for a villa in Cannes. Or
glamorous.
On the Côte d'Azur somewhere. And that's why I first told her. I mean, I've seen some amazing villas, obviously, over there. Probably even a 100 million,
just 100 million
on the lottery. You still couldn't afford one.
Yeah.
The Euro Millions, 130
Doesn't
million.
go far these days.
Yeah. So it probably wouldn't even afford the door of it. But that would be all.
So upgrade the French property.
Probably.
To the coast.
Yeah, nice. Exactly. Yeah, I would love to live in France, really. And if I could get, that would be, the one thing that Rachel has said is that she would struggle with is, it is very quiet, it's very rural where we are. So if we could up sticks, dump it in the south of France, then we do that. So I think that would be one of the things I'd love to do first, to buy a really just amazing villa.
It's amazing because you've kind of done that already.
Yeah.
I suppose so.
And you said earlier it was something you thought of straight. It's like a bucket list thing, really, that you've gone ahead and actually nailed.
I love that.
Anything else on your bucket list that you're yet to?
What, in terms of winning the lottery sort of stuff?
No,
or not?
Just something you'd like to do that you haven't done yet.
I don't think
Skydive.
No. Done skiing. I bought a house in France.
Yeah.
Bought a fast car last year.
Oh, go on. What did you get?
I bought an Audi RS5 last year. Yeah, but I sold it now. So yeah, it's gone. Yeah.
Why did you sell it?
It just got a bit expensive. Yeah. Well, that, and it was just so ridiculously fast and scary.
I was scared.
Yeah, that I ended up getting 3 points on my license, but that was just going through a 30-mile-an-hour speed camera. At 90. It was about 36. I was in going down Newport Road in car.
Which you could do in a.
It's got
in a Clio.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it was ridiculous. It was that and top speed of 177 miles an hour and stuff.
Oh my
God! Honestly, 0 to 60 in like 3 seconds. It was stupid. Why did a middle-aged man?
But it does feel it's a crisis.
It was. It was a middle-age crisis, and it's gone now. So
he's over the crisis.
I'm back to just getting back in my Chelsea tractor again now. Yeah.
This podcast is brought to you by Music HQ, the largest and dare I say loveliest provider of live wedding bands in South Wales and the South West. So, get in touch and chat with one of our wedding music experts about your big day. Now on with the podcast. So, if you weren't,
If you were not, weren't is a word, isn't it?
Is it? It's weren't a word.
Yeah, if you weren't.
Keep this
if
in.
you weren't.
It's weren't a word.
It just
Stick
sounds,
in the comments, guys.
Yeah.
It's weren't a word.
I think you can't say weren't in a Welsh accent without it sounding
Okay.
If you
weird.
weren't a photographer,
If you
it's
weren't
better,
a
isn't it?
photographer, what would you be, mate?
Yeah.
What would you be doing?
Stripper.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah. In maybe in a Magic Mike sort of thing. No, I don't know actually. What would I be doing? I mean, I would love to, again, probably going back to my love of skiing all of a sudden. I would love to become a ski instructor, I think.
Wow.
Actually. I would love to do
Wow.
that. My son Joseph did it. So he went out to Canada, to Vancouver, to be a ski instructor for 6 months in this winter season 2 years ago now. And I just love that vibe of just being outdoors all day and just bloody skiing, So that this sounds really dull and boring. All I like doing is filming stuff and skiing and listening to.
That doesn't
John
sound
Williams.
boring.
Are you James Bond?
Yeah, I am actually. Yeah. That in what's the one when they always ski, don't they? They always skiing. So yeah, I'm just James
Very
Bond.
ski 007, isn't
in his
it?
fast car,
Well, I was talking
shooting people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think it's an Alan Partridge thing, isn't it? And they do he talks about the spy who loved me. You watch that one when he's they've got all this yellow clothes with this black piping and stuff on their little ski suits and stuff. I love all that Alan Partridge style. But so I would love to be a ski instructor.
Is that your ski look?
Got that?
Yeah,
No, I mean, the problem is it's again too old for it really. But then saying that, no, I'm not old.
No, your life's just beginning.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're bossing it to me.
Yeah.
Rich, if someone's going to book a wedding videographer, and not everyone does, they think it's a luxury, don't they?
Yeah.
But I think it's so important.
I think we should. One thing I wanted to talk about actually.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever told you this.
He loves you.
Yeah, no. Rich filmed our wedding, obviously, and because Rich is our mate and he, did us mates rates, I said to Rich, look, just take as long as you want to edit it. No, absolutely no rush whatsoever. And then we just kind of forgot about it because I knew I'd get it eventually.
Yeah.
And then just out of the blue, and it was like it was a long time after, 8 months, whatever,
yeah.
because that was, we.
I think that's the norm, really, right?
And just had an email from nowhere, boom, and it came through, and there it was, and it absolutely blew me away.
He's getting emotional now. He's going to cry.
No, I'm not
Get
really
him a
going to cry.
hanky sign.
But it was, so my point is, right, I cannot stress how important it is.
Yeah.
But when we do wedding fairs in like that, I speak to people about, we've got your supplies, we've got this, we've got that. I always ask them if they got a videographer, because I think it is so important. I think it's one of the best things you can invest into.
Yeah.
Especially, and I would invest in quality as well, because you get it back, and it's like watching a movie of your loved ones, and that you can put away in a drawer. We've got it on a little USB. I've got it, and we watched it fairly recently.
We did,
and we always come across it, and it just every time it's just because you forget things, and it's just just a moment in time, isn't it?
Just
Forever.
as a tip, we all know the day just goes so
cool,
quickly.
totally. Yeah.
And that is a way of honestly reliving it.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
no, exactly. You're right. And people don't think about it. I don't think, and some people do. Some people will know that
It's
they
a
want it.
priority.
They know they
Yeah.
want it because perhaps they've seen other people's on online or something. But I would say it's still not even 50% of people have a videographer. I think it's a lot.
But maybe that comes from you don't want it right now.
Yeah.
But then what about in 10 years' time?
Yeah.
And then you've always got it there forever to show your grandkids and their grandkids. And I mean, we'll probably have to transfer it into some sort of like AI cloud thing at some
that's
point.
it. I mean, I started off I started shooting on tape originally.
Wow. Old school.
On tape. And then I would master it to DVD. And then it went to USB.
Yeah.
And now people don't want USBs anymore now because they just know it's too much
I like
faff.
our USB.
I
We've
can't
got it
even be
on-
bothered to put it in the back of the telly now.
Yeah.
So I just want it.
But don't you do that as a sideline of the business? Well, are you still doing that? Because you did that during lockdown, didn't you? You transfer.
That's right. Yeah. So during lockdown, obviously, when things weren't so great as we all know, I needed to sort of set up a business quite quickly, to supplement my furlough.
You're skiing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and so I started a business because I had already had some of the equipment, just of backing up old tapes. So VHS tapes from the day. Old Super 8 reels, audio tapes, slides, things like that, and that's still going. So I'm quite familiar with all those sort of old tapes, but it's weird as well with what you deliver as well nowadays. I mean, I don't know how many photographers now still give albums out to anymore. There's still a thing, I think, that people do have the upsell of an album, but it's gone very digital, in terms of what you get.
Yeah.
I think it's going to go back to the people want that.
Digital's
thing to
great,
hold.
but we know we've got access to digital photos all the time on our phone.
Yeah.
Do you ever look at them? Like you don't.
That's the
Whereas
thing,
if you've got
exactly.
an album, again, we go to my nan's house up in Liverpool and she gets the album out of all the photos, and it's so much more moving and
totally.
it's
Exactly, and it's something you just hold intangible,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
As opposed to having just a button. Because I always try and I do offer USBs to people, but some people want them, some people don't. But now you can get video albums as well. So you open it up and there's like a screen built into the album.
Yeah.
So so we're trying to do that as well. Yes, hopefully people are going to pick up on
So
that.
when someone is choosing a videographer, which they absolutely 100% should do, what should they be looking for?
Me? No.
Yeah.
I guess maybe things like, experience, I suppose.
Yes.
How long people have been doing it for.
20 years, for example.
Yeah, exactly, 20 years. A portfolio as well. Obviously there's so many people doing it. So many people starting out with it now. Randomly picking up, there's a couple of Facebook groups that you can go on, and someone will type in, any wedding videographers available for X date. And there's like 100 different replies coming back from people.
And some people, and we can't knock people that are just starting out either, because you've got to start somewhere.
Exactly.
But
And I did, certainly I did as well.
But like doing things for free or doing things for like super cheap. But that's your big day. You get one shot at filming that, and you want to make it magnificent forever.
Yeah, exactly. It's depend. I guess if you just want to for me personally, my always sell would be, if you want something just to capture the day, you want some content or something just to have, then I'm probably not the person that you'd come to. But if you want like a created 20-minute or 15-minute film, which it's going to be very watchable, and because I remember back when I started doing my films were 2.5 hours long. And I remember people saying, "Oh, we didn't watch it all. We just fast forwarded that bit. Or we fast forwarded the speeches. We fast forwarded the ceremony." So I'm like, "Why am I putting the ceremony?"
So you're using your expert 20-year of experience eye to get the good bits.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and make a movie like a story of the day.
Yeah. Exactly that. So I mean, I would just say to people, look at as many as you can. There's so many out there. Obviously, try not to bore yourself stupid, but by having to watch 100 people's wedding films and stuff, maybe narrow it down to.
And I also think what's important is to have someone that's fun and a vibe, and Rich is a vibe, isn't he?
Yes,
So
he is. I've asked this question a couple of times. Have you ever had anything go? No, I do know something that has gone wrong. I don't know if you want to speak on, but have you had anything go really wrong at a wedding?
Oh, you're ruthless.
Yeah,
Ryan.
this is hard.
I don't know if you could,
How much can you say?
how much can you say? I know one. I do know one. I do, yeah.
I've already told you this. Was
think
it a long
you
time?
have, yeah.
Yeah. Was it? It wasn't at your wedding, was it?
No, I don't think so. No.
I noticed actually.
Anything spring to mind?
I've had issues where I've thought I've backed up stuff, and I hadn't backed up stuff, and then when I've come to do an edit, it's not been there. So I had that once. And although probably one of the ones that sticks in my mind was using one of the cameras I used. When I made a transition from tape to DSLR, used the Sony A7. Original Sony A7S, right? You probably remember this camera.
Tech Talk.
And it was really difficult to press the record button on it because the record button was sort of didn't feel like you pressed it. So you press it once, but you'd actually press it twice. So we used to call it the curse of the double tap. Actually, in fact, I did a podcast episode on a podcast, and you'd think you'd pressed it, but you'd actually pressed it twice. And I did that once, and I was filming this girl walking down the aisle, left it on record, the whole ceremony, and then all of a sudden the camera just turned itself off. And I was like, oh, why has that gone off? That's weird. And when I went back up to it, it turned itself off because it'd gone into standby mode because it wasn't recording.
That's the one you told me
How
about.
did you fix it? How did you fix it?
Look, we can
didn't?
spin this because you did fix it.
Yeah, totally. I mean, luckily I don't just shoot the ceremony with one camera. You know, there's always
expert.
And there's always another camera angle. There's usually three. You know, so we got bride and grooms. You know, at the top of the aisle or top of of where you're going to be standing. You got one camera facing the bride, one facing the groom, and then one at the back or something. You know, to get the whole, the whole room in shot. So luckily, I was able to use those other two. But word
you
of
saved
advice.
it. But again, you can only fix these things through experience and
totally.
from not just having one camera.
And giving a refund. You know,
giving them £3,000 back. And a groveling,
fixes everything.
Groveling apology. But exactly. I mean, and I think just don't panic if that happens. You know, just don't panic. There's going to be an alternative. But again, it's good advice to people perhaps who are just starting out the business. Try not to back up, you know, and make sure that you shoot on more than one camera, I suppose.
I am the queen of the double tap curse. Like, how many times have we been like doing a gig and I'm like, quick! And then I like think, oh my God, I've absolutely nailed that. And I get back and it's just a black floor and my shoes like bouncing around.
Yeah, I've done it and I still do it now, even when I'm recording, you know, not to that extent because I also try and make sure that that doesn't happen ever again. But you know, there's going to be at least a couple of times during a wedding where when I watch it back, I'm just, you know, I've been shooting, say you two, you know, you're having a drink, you're talking over drinks, and then the next shot then is just me walking around, and then the next sort of 5 shots are like that because I've
gone into the
wrong.
Thankfully, you have got nice shoes.
And you automatically give a little bit of advice to up and coming videographers. Do you think that stems from your podcast?
I
just briefly mentioned it.
Can we talk about that a little bit?
So me and my friend Ben Bruton Cox, again, someone whose wedding I shot probably about 10 or 11 years ago. We just got chatting one day online, I think on Twitter, back in the day, you know, and he's Cheltenham way, he's in Stroud. So we were just talking and said, so I love your work, or I like your work. And then eventually he said, do you fancy, you know, could you film my wedding? I love your stuff. Come and film mine. You know, similar to what you did. So went to film, and then we built up this quite relationship. And we just used to talk on the phone or via text all the time about weddings. You know, just say, oh no, this happened to me on the weekend. I said, never. Maybe you can do this to try and fix it. And then all of a sudden he thought, why didn't we just do a podcast about that? You know, just us two just talking over almost or just around the table, you know, over drinks, just having a chat about what happened at the wedding that you shot on Saturday. So we always recorded on a Monday morning. We used to talk about that wedding or that event that we'd shot on the Saturday. We started it, I think, in 2015, or 2016. And we're on about episode 175 now. We haven't done it for a year.
That's a pretty big deal.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell the people at home
where can we find it?
Yeah,
where they can find it?
It's called Our Week in Video. So if you just Google Our Week in Video on, I don't know if I'm looking at the camera here, I'll just look.
It's called Find Your Light, mate. Find your light.
I can't.
He's not used to being this side.
I don't know what do I do? I'll tell it to you. So it's called Our Week in Video, or OWIV as it's known short. I think it's owiv.co.uk. Just go there. If you're into video, into film, it's not just about weddings. It's about TV people on them. We've had
Amazing.
TV people, filmmakers on there, people from the States, people from all over the world. Yeah, we're quite big apparently in
It's
Australia
great to
and
create
America.
that community because it can be quite lonely, can't
Totally,
it?
yeah, 100%,
It can be quite
yeah.
lonely.
And I've met so many people from. In fact, I went to an event a couple of weeks back in Bristol called FedWed, which is a new.
I already like the sound of that.
Yeah,
Fedwed.
it's a new photographer, videographer organization called the Federation of Wedding and Photographers and Videographers.
Mouthful.
Yeah, exactly. It's just FedWed for short.
Yeah.
So I was, and again, they've launched this little business, and the idea is to bring photographers, videographers together, networking, blah blah blah. And I went there the other week in Bristol, and I was just walking around, and someone go, recognise your voice. And I was like, all right, yeah, you're Richard from the
Oh
video
my
podcast,
God, will you sign my...
I was like, yeah, yes, I am, as a matter of fact, yes, yeah. So that was, yes.
insane.
You're much better looking on a podcast.
yeah. I mean, I struggle to be in front of the camera, so I love hiding behind the microphone. I can see anything behind the microphone, but when you put me in front of a camera,
This
I'm
is
a bit more
great,
nervous.
though.
Yeah,
You're out of
hopefully.
your comfort zone. That's how good stuff happens.
Maybe.
So we're going to wrap it up, I suppose, aren't we? Rich, where can we find your Aurora online?
Yes, so it's so if you want to go old school and look at a website, auroravideo.co.uk, auroravideo.co.uk, or I'm on Instagram, Aurora Wedding Films, and on YouTube, Aurora Wedding Films. Everything else, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Vimeo is all Aurora Wedding Films.
Amazing. Thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome.
an
Thanks for
amazing
having me.
guest.
I really appreciate you
Thank
having
you
me
for
down.
shooting our wedding. We love our video,
I
don't
appreciate
we?
that. I remember
Absolutely
where
do.
it was. I remember everything about it. In fact, I think if you still Google, am I allowed to say the name of the restaurant?
Yeah,
Where it was?
yeah.
Salmontini, wasn't
That's
it?
it,
yes.
Salmontini Wedding, London. I think your video comes up as the first.
Do you know that
on there.
restaurant's
I
not there
hope so.
anymore? It's
Is it not?
gone.
Oh,
It's
no
gone.
way.
It's gone.
Oh, that was
Which
stunning.
I'm super sad about.
Oh
but
wow,
yeah.
that was because you said you loved that. Place,
Yeah,
We're
he's
still
still-
friends. We're still friends.
The food
with
is
you.
Still friends
amazing.
with the owner. Yeah.
Oh,
but
that's sad,
it's
yeah.
gone. But
Shout
hey,
out to Jace the Ace.
thank God you filmed it for us.
Exactly,
It
yeah,
doesn't even
there we go.
exist anymore.
Yeah.
That's the whole point, isn't
Yeah,
it?
Exactly.
yeah, totally.
There we go. If you've enjoyed the podcast today, like and subscribe, and we will catch you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.